fastest growing sports show on the internet today, JD's Rockin' Sports.
And we are live. You are listening to JD's Rockin' Sports. We are coming live from Scottsdale, Arizona. Long day, and it's only 11 o'clock. So, anyway,
are you depressed because of the weather?
No, and I actually really do enjoy rainy days. I actually do. We don't get enough of them here. The only problem is when it does rain, it freaks people out on the roads.
Yeah.
No, the problem is it's been raining for like 4 days. Like, I don't mind the rain, but normally here it comes down real heavy and then it goes away the same day.
Yesterday I was out on the road and I had to make once I got back from somebody running around, I had to make a real quick trip to the vet, and it was about a 10-minute drive. Within 10 minutes, when I came back from the vet, there were already 2 accidents that I came across going back to my house, and they were nasty. They were in the middle of an intersection, and one car was basically up on the hood of another.
Oh my God.
And I mean, the cops hadn't even showed up yet, so I just missed it.
Uh-huh.
So every time it rains out here, it's just like all that oil gets turned up on the roads that's been sitting there for the last 200 days, and then just no, but I actually do like the rain, and actually maybe that's going to be a little advantage for the Seahawks. Maybe they're feeling a little more like home with the rain out here. I don't know. But anyway,
it's pretty cold in New England right now, too.
East Coast is no joke. They are dealing with some nasty snow and everything that they had last week, too. But
yeah, that terrible blizzard that was going to roll through and destroy New York. What they get 2 inches? Whoops.
But we are live from the VetX.com arena. I call it the arena because this is where everything happens. But with us, JD is covering the waste management open, so he is out of the office today, but we still have the crew with us. We have Joel with us. Joel, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, man.
How's your week going?
It was all right, and kind of some of the rain put a damper on the softball and umpiring and all that.
Did you have some
stuff.
games canceled?
Yeah, Thursday and last night were all canceled. So I showed up, though I was supposed to umpire those games. I showed up on Thursday and they called it right at game time. So
is that just a wash, or will this be made up?
They'll be made up.
They will.
Yeah.
Let's play 2.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of playing 2 anytime you can. The businessman special on Wednesdays, I'm always a fan of those.
Yeah, all of them are double headers in almost every league now in the city.
Well, let's play 3.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron's excited. What's going on over there with you, producer? How's everything going with you?
Yeah, it's all right. Kind of disappointed. There's a big soccer game on right now. Of course, they had to schedule it late. Chelsea
sorry that you had to be here.
Well, Chelsea and Man City, and they put it on at 10:30. I don't know why it wasn't on early in the morning. I would have watched it.
No, I can't see your screen. Are you watching it right now?
No.
I'm not paying attention to us.
No, I might turn it on though. It's a big game. Plus the transfer window's open.
Well, isn't every game a big game? But there's been some stuff going on. We just mentioned that the host JD is at the Waste Management Open. JD is there. Tiger is not. If anyone didn't see, Tiger failed to miss the cut. I guess what's actually more.
You mean he failed to make the cut?
Oh,
well, double negative.
2015 is just not your year, man. God, get back to the old Aaron. But what's surprising is the fact that it's his second tournament in a row that he has not qualified for. I mean, Phil also missed the cut too, so this there's no way that Phil or Tiger will be playing on Sunday. Actually, maybe Tiger gets maybe he likes it. Maybe he's going to be able to watch the Super Bowl this time. But what's really weird is, aside from the fact that he missed the cut, I don't think anyone's really surprised. He's definitely had probably one of the hardest last what was it, like 5 years. His game has been off. But one thing he did say, I guess he's going with a new swing. I guess he completely reamped his game.
Yeah,
changed everything. I will give his post game interview a little credit. I'm not sure if any of you guys saw that. He did go ahead and quote Marshawn Lynch.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Well, I don't think Tiger could afford to get fined right now. He's not bringing any bank this year.
Right.
But
he's not hurting.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know he's not hurting it just in the general sense, but they were mentioning that again, it was a second tournament that he didn't qualify for. But if you were looking down at like the the list that they actually had, it just basically showed the 13 times that he has not qualified for a cut. And what's kind of funny is it showed like 1997, and then the next one was like 2005. Because we all remember the first, like when early when he got in the tour, it was just all about Tiger. Fist pumps. I mean, it was almost like Happy Gilmore style. People were almost doing the waves in the crowd, and that's just what we learned to expect of him. And now lately, like the guy is just struggling. Now he didn't. I mean, we know he had his back surgery thing going, like last year and the year before, we were seeing him swinging like almost keel over. But now, the one thing I will give him credit for is in his interview, though, he was stating that he's like, I am changing up my stuff, but this is exactly what I need to get better is to put it in play and put it into tournaments. But I mean, he shot an 83.
Yeah.
I mean, when that happens to me, I mean, I start bragging. I put it on Twitter. I start skywriting it, But it has been a struggle for him, and I have heard people where they're like, good, it's about time he gets off his horse, But I like watching the guy play. I mean, he did basically bring golf back to the foreground in terms of celebrity, or at least that status. Because beforehand, I don't think people were. I mean, you weren't seeing people doing the kind of fist pumping that you used to see. But I don't know. I'm kind of sad because I have always enjoyed watching him play well. And they even brought up a segment where, is it? I mean, he's only 39, and golf is a sport that you definitely can play well as you get older. But I don't know. I mean, some people are saying that I don't think he's ever gonna win a tournament again. I think it's kind of hard to say.
He won't.
Aaron, Aaron, why don't you give us your opinion since you're pretty quick on that? I mean,
well, he had his knee in his back, so he lost, and then also he stopped using the steroids, so he's lost all his strength, so he's got to reconfigure his whole game. But the problem the past 2 days out here is he couldn't hit putts. His short game was awful.
Did you see some of the highlights though of his short game, like the putting?
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Mm-mm.
So, and the thing with golf is it's a mental game. It's all in your head. So in his case, I don't know if he can get that out of his head. And like I said before, when we were talking about it last week, say what you want about all the skanks that he was getting with when he was on his little run.
Wow.
But that got him a lot of, that gave him confidence, right? And when you're confident, feel good, play good. And I don't know if he can get that again in his head to be the top golfer in the world like he once was.
Well, and correction, it wasn't an 83, it was an 82 that he shot. Well, I mean, I would be feeling pretty confident too, and if I had his kind of off game, but
yeah,
I mean, and I don't think he's upset with because who's he riding with right now? Isn't it Lindsey Vonn?
Yeah, it is with Lindsey Vonn.
I mean, so far he's only lost a tooth with her. So far he's only lost a tooth.
Yeah. I have a theory. About this. I think Tiger Woods just came in, wanted to get a few swings in, probably purposely missed the cut so he can go to the Super Bowl.
He said he was leaving town.
Well, I disagree. I think he's going to go in there with a mask on or something like that. And
1-2.
Well, I mean, there's been I can tell you guys at least from trying to put in or trying to implement new techniques. And there's been times when I was playing baseball where maybe I tried to tweak something with my swing or my delivery. I mean, I can understand that when you're trying to make an adjustment, there's going to be a little bit of a gray area there.
Right.
But I mean, an 82. I mean, it's kind of like on Kingpin. On Kingpin, we're like, it's like, Cup, I heard you put up a monster 86. Now, how did you do that? He's like, well, I missed. I mean, but an 82, it's just we don't expect to see that from Tiger, but
not at all.
The one thing I wanted to hit on was what you were saying, Joel. Is I think with all this rain we've had, I think that they could have been smart in moving one of these days back.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you would have moved the final day to Monday, you would have had a huge attendance draw because a lot of people wouldn't have gone home right away. They would have changed their flights. They would have stayed in Monday, watched that last day, with or without Tiger or Phil.
Right.
I think people would have stayed.
I agree with that.
To watch it, and I know that they set a record on Tuesday with the Pro-Am, and I think they set a record on Wednesday with the first day. I think their number was down Thursday because that was when the heavy, quote unquote, heavy rain was here. But I think if they would have just moved it back one day, whether it's yesterday or today or Sunday, move it back to Monday, they could have beaten all the attendance records.
Yeah, well, apparently they did sell the most tickets they had ever, but I'm pretty sure the attendance in themselves were down, even though the ticket sales were up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was like 78,000 for the Pro-Am, which is just a ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, did any of you guys see the? I think it was Wednesday. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday, where they had like the celebrity closest shot at the Waste Management. It was like I think it started like at 5 o'clock, whatever, and like it was closest to the pin. Like if you made it, it was like you get like a $1 million purse or a $2 million. When Tebow put it within like 11 feet from the hole, but it was. I mean, once he hit the once it was hit, I was like, of course everything sounds great on TV. I was like, that sounded good, that looked good. And then when they're showing it down there, once it landed on the green, you see some of the people in the crowd that were doing the T-bowing.
Yeah.
I was like, well, he's still making headlines, but
did you see Bruce Arians' golf swing?
yes,
I think I have a better swing than that.
yeah, that would be one swing that I could literally put. Okay, you can go ahead and put mine on TV and show, but you'd have to show my swing after his.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty painful. But again, it's he can back it up by saying, well, I am in football, not golf. But,
right.
But yeah, no, but Aaron, I do kind of agree that maybe I feel bad for anybody who has an event that is not playing the Super Bowl on Sunday, because it's almost like, who's going to be watching this?
Yeah.
Well, the game's not till like 4:30 here.
But I think coverage starts at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. It's like a 12-hour pregame. I always like just turn it on and then I like do other stuff all day. And then
It's almost like
that's a fun fact.
It's almost like Christmas Story, playing 24 hours a day on Christmas days. Like I can just turn this on now and I can come back to it in 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours. It's still going to be on.
Yeah.
Well, and I did that. I don't do it anymore because one time I turned it on and Guy Fieri was there talking about like hot recipes or something like that's it. Never again.
And you were hoping to see Christmas Story?
No.
But
I'll shoot your eye out.
you gotta be careful with those things, man. They scatter all over. Kind of with the Super Bowl on topic, there's been a little. I actually just came across it today, but apparently there is a little bit of an issue with people getting scammed on Super Bowl tickets.
Yeah, I've been hearing that.
Yeah, and I literally just came across it this morning. I was doing a little bit of reading before we went on, but basically, it looks like what's going on is people are buying tickets online through various places, and the ticket agency that they're buying them from, I guess, doesn't actually have the ticket in hand yet. And
Wow.
yeah, so I mean, no, whether the other ticket organizations then, after they get a request, they go out and find the ticket. But this one guy had mentioned that he had paid. I'm gonna bring this back up right now here. But he had what he was saying is that he basically paid for his ticket, and then had received an email stating that he basically you spend over $1,000 on a ticket that you're not going to be able to use. Let's see here.
Well, I think you got to back that train up. The Super Bowl ticket prices are the highest they've been in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
I mean, right now I know like Thursday you were looking at $10,000, over $10,000 for section 4, which is like the cheap seats.
yeah.
So I mean, it's not a good thing to go. And then the way it goes with the ticket sales is you have the NFL obviously sells them, and then you have either companies or people that then sell them on that, and then it goes out and you get the third party vendors, your StubHub, your SeatGeek, and those kind of places, and then you get the kind of mom and pop ones. And I think I saw one that's like what you're talking about. The ticket guys was saying that they weren't going to have them. So you have a lot of people that paid 10 grand plus for these tickets that aren't going to have them. I saw a couple, and Darren Rovell, the ESPN sports business analyst, he does a lot of good stuff. He was saying there's some of them are refunding 200% of the price. Some of them are just telling them to kick rocks. So it's all over the place.
Well, this one guy basically said that he bought a $2,100 ticket listed at SeatGeek, which you just mentioned. But said he bought a ticket for $2,100 at SeatGeek, which pulled a seat from a company called Prominent Tickets. It says this is the email he got. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we have not received our normal allotment of Super Bowl inventory. in our 26 years of business, we have never seen a market with such limited availability to the public. If the tickets were out there, we would rather pay to fill your order, but we cannot buy tickets that do not exist. That's the email he got. Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, if this has gone on in other Super Bowls, I just really haven't heard about it, or I didn't get to read anything on it. This is just the first time that I happened to.
Well, you remember it happened a couple of years ago in the Dallas Super Bowl.
Did it?
With the new stadium when they sold that whole section of seats that didn't exist. And
well, Jerry Jones will make money any way he
Well,
can.
yeah,
I wouldn't put it past him to pull a fast one like that.
and that's what happened is the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, they had to settle up, and they gave them either, a package of tickets and money and merchandise and stuff, or, season tickets or whatever. Most of them settled. A couple of them sued, but I think the lawsuit, basically they got their money back. So it was kind of a joke, but the Super Bowl anyway, I mean, it's not for the fans. There's very limited seats for actual fans. It's all corporate. It's players' family. And then you remember a few years ago, it wasn't a struggle for fans, but Mike Tyson, he was the coach of the Vikings. He demanded all his players buy the 50 tickets they could buy and then sell them to him. Do you remember that whole scandal?
No, I don't think I remember that.
He went to all his players and basically said, buy all your tickets and then sell them to me if you're not going to use them. And he was like reselling the tickets that way.
Smart. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying whether that's good or bad, but I mean, make some money.
Yeah, I guess every player in the NFL can buy up to 50 tickets or something like that.
Now I wonder if they're sitting there paying at the obscene rate that everyone else has to pay for.
No, they pay face value.
Oh, of course. Because they're the ones that are hurting for the money. They couldn't possibly afford a $2,100 ticket.
It's not for the fans.
Well, then if it's not for the, well, actually I can understand that because everything that's gone on with the Super Bowl, even with media day, you got to pay to go there.
Yeah, that was kind of a joke too. $28.50 to go sit next door at the arena and watch media day on TV. I could see paying $28.50 if you got to walk through, maybe.
Yeah, no one paid me $28 to watch it at the house.
Right.
It's a joke, but they started that last year at New York. They had the, I guess, watch party, next door if you want. So, but that goes back. That kind of goes back to the issue with the Glendale NFL deal where they're basically having a pissing contest on doing things, and they couldn't hold any events at the stadium other than the game.
Yeah, well, I'm still gonna watch Super Bowl, but I could not see even if I had an LA team and they were going to the Super Bowl, I can't see paying that much money to go to a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even care if you put me on the 50-yard line in the front row. I don't think I could seriously pay that much money for a game.
You're out of your mind.
Well, and I guess I'm not going to take you to a game if I have a spare ticket.
There's even a whole bunch of counterfeit merchandise that were confiscated this season. Yeah. Well, I guess, or the Super Bowl anyway, but I guess as the most ever in Super Bowl history where counterfeit merchandise has been sold or sold. And it's for some reason, it always seems to happen here in Arizona.
I was going to say, I wonder if that's been the case, if that's ever going to come up being like, well, I mean, we have it in Arizona. There's a bunch of fraud going on and everything like that. But
I think it's everywhere. I mean, I remember the past few years, and I've heard some other people who did go to the games where they've said this, people just open up a street corner shop, with Super Bowl gear, and it's probably not licensed, So I saw a guy standing by one of the car dealerships on the way in here.
Yep.
And
a little over here guy.
No, he had a big sign, and it's like Super Bowl 49 merchandise and tickets.
Did it say real Super Bowl 49? Like,
right.
Is that how you got the good feeling about it?
No, I was just like, man, I don't know. I don't get the whole. I want a shirt that says Super Bowl 49, but I guess maybe if my team was in it. I mean, for me, I'm not gonna wear the Super Bowl with the Cardinals Steelers because they lost. Why would I want to celebrate that loss?
Well, just probably so we could say that we were in it, but anyway, we'll be jumping back into a Super Bowl later. Also, kind of a big topic right now. for anyone that really does follow tennis, though, Serena Williams, she went ahead and she won the 6th Australian Open. But more impressively, though, it's her 19th major title. 22 is set by Steffi Graf, so that's what she's chasing. And I mean, she's at 33 years old, so a lot of people think that she will be able to beat that 22 that Steffi Graf had set. But she beat Sharapova though in 3 sets. I didn't actually. I think I got to watch a piece of like the second set when I was just kind of flipping through some of the channels. But I don't think that's any much of a surprise. I mean, pretty much she's been on top. She's been number 1 for quite a while, and I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I would equate it to Ronda Rousey. There's not a lot of competition.
Right.
It's tough to say. It's tough to say she's not good, because she's got all the titles and she wins a lot. You know, her only real competition is her sister, who I don't know how much she's interested anymore. They kind of bounce in and out because they both have outside interests now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to say she's the greatest of all time because you don't have the great matches. You know, you don't have, you know, all this stuff going on. You know, there's some young stars, Carolyn Wozniacki and Sharapova, surprisingly made a final. You know, she's been known more for modeling than tennis, but
she does both very well, though.
She's a better model than a tennis player.
I will agree. I will agree on that. Yeah,
but it's tough to say. I mean, I'd like to see more talent. I mean, I'd like to see an American male even put up a fight. There's not really any of those right now.
No, I mean, well, actually, if you're looking at male tennis, looking at the top 5 right now, there's not an American.
Yeah, you need for this country to care, you need an Agassi Sampras. You need even Federer and Nadal was interesting for a little while, but it's not that interesting to us because neither one of them are American, so not as many people care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you always have your diehard tennis fans, but if you want Main Street success, you got to have a good rivalry and you've got to have at least one American star.
And we all know. I mean, hell, sometimes you'll even give me crap depending on what car I drive here because like, oh, you decided to drive the American car. You know, and we all know that you're big on America.
I am.
So you can't even like a hockey player if it's like, well, he's Canadian. Well, aren't they all Canadian?
No,
actually,
they're not all Canadian.
They're Swedish and
yeah.
Hey, I like my snipers Russian. All right. I want my captains American and my snipers Russian. That's how I build my hockey team.
That's Aaron Davis for you right there.
Yeah.
In basketball, the Hawks they're still flying 18 straight. Now see what I'm actually trying to look right now. I'm trying to actually find what that record was that the Lakers set like back in the 70s. Wasn't something like 30 something games in a row?
Yeah, the record's something ridiculous, but I think it's just impressive that the Hawks are playing that well. I don't think anybody saw this. I mean, they played well at the end of last year. They put a string of wins together and they came into the playoffs and, you know, but no one really expected them to go much further than the first round of the playoffs. And here they are leading the East. They've pretty much led it most of the year. They might go wire to wire.
I mean, at least when I was growing up, I can't remember hearing about the Hawks. I knew that they were
Dominique Wilkins.
Stacey Ogman, Plastic Man. Aside from like Dominique Wilkins, but
Lenny Wilkins,
what's
coach, that? Lenny Wilkins.
But even when they had like Dominique Wilkins, I don't think they ever had any type of streak that anybody was aware of. I mean, I don't ever remember them being very dominant when I was growing up.
You want to talk 90s basketball players, 91 basketball players. I got a box set of Skybox cards with your name on it.
In mint condition, unopened?
They're open, but they're in mint condition.
Nope, value's gone. I'm not selling I'm not gonna get secondhand cards.
Not with I'm not selling them to you. I'll just show you.
Oh, well, I wasn't planning on buying them, but I mean, I didn't know I was in the market.
Your question on the Hawks. They were always good. That team with Dominique Wilkins and Spud Webb, and then after Wilkins left, you had Stacey Ogman, and they were always kind of a finesse team. They always had big dunks, big plays, but they never really contended. I mean, they weren't take another team in that same era. You know, the Bulls were winning it all.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
they would have won 10 in a row if Jordan didn't leave. But you had the Trailblazers come in, and they came in. They had a couple good seasons, made it to the finals. And I think there was a lot of that. Seattle did it one year. Phoenix did it one year. Houston won the 2 championships while Jordan was out. So I think you had a lot of teams that were up and down, and I think that Hawks team was always good enough, but they were good enough to get there, but they're never going to win it.
Right.
And I think after you get there a while, especially in Atlanta, they had the same thing going on with the Braves at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I'm always getting interested and excited for a team when they can start putting up a nice, like I wasn't really, honestly, and it was because I don't like LeBron that much. I wasn't really impressed, and I really didn't care when the Heat had like that 21 or whatever that streak they had.
I believe you mean the Heatles.
The Heatles. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't. But like with the Hawks, I'm glad to see them, turning around. That's why I'm really excited to see Golden State this year blowing up like the way they are, because you don't see that very often with them.
Yeah, and I can see what you're saying. Like, that Heat team was going to win. Everyone said they're going to win. So I don't think a lot of people were surprised when they won a bunch of games in a row. You were supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So I would agree with you there.
Also, kind of no, it's in the headlines, although it's been going on for quite a while. The Hernandez trial finally got started. The guy's been sitting in jail for what, 2 years, year and a half?
Yeah,
2 or 3. So. It's been a long time.
Yeah, so now that finally starts getting underway. No, I don't know if this is going to be a trial. And again, I haven't really heard much about it. I don't know if it's going to be like televised, or if it's going to be televised like the OJ one was, or anything like that. Because I
think you can watch it if you want to. It's not as big.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's not like on every channel like OJ, but.
Well, I mean, and I did hear. I think they said that they were actually throwing one case or one of the charges out. But the one thing I did hear, I heard it. I think it was on Thursday going to work, where they said they found a joint with Hernandez's DNA next to the body of allegedly the one of the guys that he shot. I was like, well, okay, so he was baked when he did this. Like, I was like, I mean, I know you need to have proof that he was at the scene, but that was like the one thing that I had heard, and I was like, okay, great. So now they've got a joint with his DNA on it next to the dead body.
I think they were working on a bloody shoe print yesterday or something. And JD said the other day he's more knowledgeable than both of us about that they were throwing out the gun or something with the ammo. I forget.
Yeah, that I did hear.
But you don't need a murder weapon to convict somebody.
Well, just like OJ.
It helps.
Just like OJ, the real killers are still out there.
He's not free yet.
So it'd be interesting to watch the Hernandez case unveil. One thing that I just saw in the news that just real quick with baseball before we hit to our first break, Washington Nationals Jason Worth is going to be spending 5 days in jail. It was supposed to be 10 days in jail, but he pleaded with a speeding charge. He was doing 105 and a 55. So, I mean, now granted, I would have wanted to have seen if it were me, I would have wanted to say to the cop, when was your radar gun calibrated? I think maybe you got me off a little bit there. But 105 and a 55. I mean, I think my car can go 105. I don't know.
I'm too afraid to test it.
Yeah, it makes weird noises when I get up to 70s. That's why I go faster. But it's supposed to be 10 days. He got pleaded, got down to 5. But I don't know.
With these guys, you got him and Puig.
I just don't understand. Like, if I were making that kind of money, I would just make sure that I do as much as I can to stay out of the media in that respects, for the team and for yourself. But obviously, that doesn't exactly happen. I don't know. I would actually like to be able to see or actually have a talk with one of these guys. It's been like, why do you need to do that?
Right.
But anyway, it's about time for us to take our first break there, Aaron. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back, and stay with us. You're listening to JD's Rockin' Sports.
To own a thriving business and help employ local veterans, the Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you will be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity, while at the same time providing your customers a way to say, thank you for your service to our nation's veterans. For more information, visit vetraplex.org. Again, that's vetraplex.org or call 928-284-2022.
Breaker, one nine. How about that bandage? You got them ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in your life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?
I created a monster, cause nobody wants to see Marshall no more. They want Shady, I'm chopped liver. Well, if you want Shady.
And we are back. You were listening to JD's Rockin' Sports on this beautiful Saturday. It's still morning, Saturday morning. Good tune there, Aaron. Good tune there. I haven't actually heard that song in a little while.
Yeah, I a lot of hatred for the Patriots. What would they do without me?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I was afraid to know the answer. So, football. Does anybody know that there's still a football game that still needs to be played?
Really?
Yeah. And again, probably wouldn't know it with all the stuff going on right now. One of the things that we kind of wanted to bring up is once again, Josh Gordon back in the news.
Well, let's do Deflategate, your weekly update real quick, and then we'll move on to news so we can just get it out of the way. Report this week, person of interest was a ball boy, took the balls into the bathroom for 90 seconds.
Now, I remember maybe it was just last week they had labeled they had a person of interest. I still don't know if we've even gotten a name about it or anything, but
yeah, Jay Glazer broke it on Monday, but then it was confirmed it was a Patriots ball boy. Is who it was. They interviewed him.
The ball boy?
Yeah, not a lot of news yet. The thing that JD and I were, we can have a discussion today because he's not here to proclaim the Patriots' innocence over and over. The thing that's interesting to me, and I fully think if they find something, it's going to be a big fine, a suspension. There's going to be a lot of problems. The problem I have is the NFL never logged the error. They never It's basically the equivalent of you go in, you have a detective on a police case, he logs the evidence. Yeah. This is where it was. This is where the shell was. This is where we saw the shoe print. This is what we saw.
Right.
They took all the balls, they weighed them, they said they were underinflated and threw them away. You remember this happened with Spygate before. The tapes mysteriously vanished.
And people thought that Goodell got rid of, that destroyed the tapes and got rid of them.
Yeah.
That's what people were saying during that.
And that's the thing that bothers me is this another cover up? I mean, that's not to say that somebody's crooked or somebody's shady. It's just where there's smoke, there's fire. And this is the second time it's sort of been a cover up, in my opinion.
Well, if you're gonna tell me that the balls were underinflated, but yet there's no log to show, like this one was 11.2, this one was 12.6, this one, if there's no log, then Lily, it could be Joel's word against my word.
Right.
If you don't have anything that shows that it was logged down there, it's all who you're gonna believe at that point. There's no actual definitive proof. Yes, ball number 2, specifically that one was at was logged in
at 10.5,
right,
or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I hear that they don't even have a log of that. I think it just makes it look worse, because then at one point, and here's one thing that I did hear. Again, more and more people are putting responsibility that needs to be shown on the officials, because they're the ones who regulate fair play.
Right. And again, it's a whole topic because they're not full-time employees. They don't get benefits from the NFL. They get paid handsomely, but they're not full-time employees.
So like during during the off season,
it'd be like they have other jobs.
Car salesman, doing every type of thing.
Yeah, mostly.
Really?
Yeah. Well, like Ed Hockley's a lawyer. But I mean, it'd be like the equivalent of, hey, I own a business. I hire somebody 3 days a week to, I don't know, clean up the facility, and I want them to go ahead and keep my bookkeeping while I'm at it. To me, it's ridiculous. At least, in my opinion, the referees, you got to have them on full time. Here's your job. Here's your salary. Your job is to know this rule book front and back. Any day of the week, I can call you July 3rd and ask you what Article 2, Section 3 is, and you know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard for somebody to do that, especially with all the new rules they put in each week.
Well, the fact that when you're hearing that no one, basically this almost kind of seems like it's going to be giving the Patriots the benefit of the doubt because the balls weren't logged. Now, or maybe because the balls weren't logged, if something is found to be on the dishonest side, can you suspend someone with not having all the evidence, not all the evidence on file? Stay with me. I think we just lost our producer.
I'm back.
Oh.
I mean, it's filling. This cupcake is good, but it's filling.
I mean, so that was a healthy bite you took out.
It was, yeah. These are good. What was it? 4th and Sticks, or I forget the name. The girls had them in. Here. Yeah, they're good. They're very good cupcakes, but just don't take a gigantic bite.
Just try to have a regular proportion size bite.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of frosting.
Because you have to understand. I'm going to explain to JD how our producer died on the show. He's probably not going to leave us again.
He'll just be happy there's a Super Bowl ring or a Patriots ring near my place. Anyway, back to the topic.
Can you seriously been like, okay, if something was said to have been done unethically, whatever. Like, I think with the balls not being logged, I almost think that's in the Patriots' favor.
It is. And I don't think they're going to get more than a slap on the wrist at this point because there's no evidence.
Exactly.
It'd be like going into a court case. Well, we're pretty sure we did it. We got this one eyewitness. We can't use the gun that has his fingerprints all over it. It's kind of the similar thing there. And the other thing, too, is they didn't even log the Colts balls. So they can just say, well, the Colts could have been the same way. It's just the weather. I mean, which, Bill Nye came out and did the dog and pony show about how that's not possible. But, it's like there's not enough evidence at this point. So I think they'll just get a slap on the wrist and move on. But I think it looks bad for Goodell.
Well, I mean, did any of you guys see his his address in the state yesterday?
Yeah, I saw part of it. I saw some of it. I mean,
I was watching it because I think it was after that was going to be something else I was wanting to watch. So I was killing the time on it. But
I heard it. I didn't watch it. It was on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, because they mentioned because he and Kraft are friends, and they one one person on the media. I think he was from. He may have been from Seattle, but was asking like about their relationship. I mean, Goodell's had a rough year. I mean, I've had a rough year this year. Goodell's had a rough year.
Yeah.
The guy's not hurting on money. He's
No.
going to get a ton of money. That's his job. One of the biggest problems I have had, there's two big problems I have with the NFL right now. One, they don't pay any taxes. I don't know how that works. But two, they don't. And I don't like his cadence. He almost came off very presidential in his cadence. He was real slow and that methodology, something like that. That slow, deliberate pace he was having, it just was almost too presidential. I'm going to do this because of this, and I have to hold the integrity. I didn't watch it. I couldn't see if he was doing the thumb point, like Bill Clinton, like you got to have it pinned down, right? Because you can't point at anybody because it's negative. You got to do the thumb point. But that was my thing. He's just, it's like he's on the defense and he's doing his agenda. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's good for him. This is, in my opinion, his second cover up he's assisted in, either knowingly or not knowingly, he's been a part of. Actually, his second this year with the whole Ray Rice thing. I never got those tapes. I mean,
right.
It looks really bad. I think they're going to have to make a move at some point to save face. I don't know when, but I think it's going to happen.
There certainly is a conflict of interest. Those two, all buddy, and Goodell stayed or at his house or something like that for a little while.
And he made reference to that. One of the guys, the media asked him, he's like, I have like the utmost respect for him. And he's like, yes, he's like, I respect him as a person and also as a business person. I was at his house, but he's like, I was at his house because it was an AFC party, and that's part of what we do. Now, I don't know if Goodell was if he was at Harbaugh's house after last year when they wanted to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I don't know if he was at his house having a party or celebrating, because he mentions like that's just that's what we do. Like, okay, like we cover events, we bring our cameras. That's what we do. It's part of the job.
Well, you got to remember the commissioner works for the owners.
Yes,
work for the players. That NFLPA has their own rep that works for them.
Well, and that's actually what I was getting to, because the president of the NFLPA, Eric Winston, did you hear about his little tweet that he put out yesterday that got him in a little bit of trouble? Basically, and Joel, you and I were talking about this a little bit before we came on air earlier today, that apparently Eric Winston made a comment. He did not know he was on the record when he made this comment. So basically, he's stating, he's like, hey, even the worst, and this is basically this is Winston speaking about the NFL commissioner, Goodell. He's like, hey, even the worst bartender at spring break does pretty well. I think he's like, if you think about it, a 2-year-old could be the NFL commissioner and still make money.
Right. I'd agree with that.
Okay, so that's exactly what he said. Then a couple of hours later, he saw that it was published, and then Winston released a statement on Twitter, basically stating that he didn't realize he was making comments on the record. Here's actually his full statement that he mentioned, and this is again from the NFLPA president. Eric Winston. It's like, in a casual conversation with the reporter about the success of the NFL and how nothing seems to get in its way, I inappropriately, and I've never heard this word, and I'm actually kind of curious, I flippantly made a remark about the commissioner, Goodell. Although we often disagree on issues, but I want to apologize for Roger for me being unprofessional. I'm disappointed that my comment was taken out of context and inserted into a column without any knowledge that it was conversation that was, quote, on the record. I'm disappointed at this reporter. I am disappointed that this reporter chose to burn me, but this is an important lesson that I will learn going forward. This is my fault, and again, I apologize. Oh, because you didn't know it was on the record? You were being interviewed, but you didn't know it was on the record?
It's always on the record. But the other thing is the good news is they don't have to worry about him being their player rep much longer, because he could barely be on the roster this year. So he's not going to be a player rep anymore.
But I mean, again, it's just exactly, people were talking about with Sherman not Sherman, I'm sorry. Lynch, but not talking to the media and everything. He used to, to talk and be on the media. It wasn't until in Buffalo where he got burned with like that DUI charge and like when he got arrested, that's when all that crap happened with like him being misquoted and stuff like that.
Right.
But
and look, you could say what you want about Lynch and that stuff, and we'll probably discuss that a little bit later when we get in our Super Bowl stuff. But at least he's going out there and doing his 5 minutes. You can complain he doesn't say anything. Yeah. He showed up. I mean, it'd be like you're required to be at your job. If you had a contract and you're required to be at your job, even if they didn't have any work for you, but they made you come in, you just came in and sat there. You're doing what's required of you.
Right.
It's the same thing. And you can't legislate this is what you have to say, or you have to say something substantive because it's too much wiggle room.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, again, like him, don't like him. He was available for the press. So
go back to your comment on Goodell. I think there's going to be big changes in the offseason in terms of Deflategate. There's probably going to be a standardizing process of there's an official that stands there and stares at every one of the balls until kickoff.
You have to stare at that thing for 10 minutes before you can get back out there.
Speaking of wasting time and getting paid to do something. And then I think they're going to steal the NHL's idea like they have in the past and put a punishment czar or whatever in place to make these decisions. Because you remember when Goodell first started, he was the hammer. He
was a hard nose.
He had a Sports Illustrated article on the toughest commissioner in sports. He's going to drop the hammer on you if you breathe wrong. Sherman and Doug Baldwin made a mockery of him with that press conference with the cardboard cutout about the Bose headphones.
Yeah,
remember that?
Right. Yeah.
And this whole thing with Sherman, and he was supposed to fine him for gold cleats last week because it was a uniform violation. They've taken the bat out of his hands. He can't do anything anymore because he's, it's just going to come right back at him. Well, look what you did wrong. You did Ray Rice wrong. What did you do with Deflategate?
You did nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that he's kind of lost his way, and the only way for him to keep his job, he's going to have to appoint someone to manage the power piece, I guess I would say. And then you have that third party, which is a lot of power lost for the NFL because it's not like MLB where the players run the roost. The owners run it.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you're done, and that's what it is.
Yeah. I think we'll see Goodell next year. I don't think he's going to be I don't think he'll be released or fired or anything like that. Unfortunately, he'll be back next year, but this is definitely not a good year on his resume. No doubt about that. Now other stuff that's kind of going on. Now Josh Gordon is back in the headlines, and Aaron, you said you've got the lowdown scoop on that.
Well, the way I heard the situation break down is he was on a private plane, I guess, coming back to wherever, and he had drinks on the plane. And then he got a text message when he landed that said he had to be at the testing facility within 4 hours.
Now, was that random? The testing?
Supposedly it's random.
I'm just saying, like that. I mean, he's on a plane having drinks, and this all of a sudden he lands and gets a random text. I mean, obviously he probably didn't know he was going to be getting tested that day.
It's random. Air quotes around random, because you remember Pat McAfee, the punter, when he laid that big hit on somebody early in the season.
Yeah.
That next day. So it happens, but he's already on the protocol, so he can theoretically be tested at any time, any place. So he has to show up within 4 hours and do the test. Well, obviously he's going to fail. He can't be on anything because of his previous. This is his. I think it's technically his fourth because the first one doesn't count. It's just like a warning.
Okay, right. Yeah, I love how many chances they get. The first one doesn't count. God.
Well, the first one's like a warning. You do a program, then you get the 4 games, and you get the 8 games, and you get the suspension. Well, you got the season, and you got that appealed to 8 because of the change in policy for marijuana last year. But
at what point do you learn?
At what point is millions of dollars, or is alcohol greater for you than millions of dollars? If I have an opportunity to make tons of money and I just can't drink alcohol, then I'm not going to drink alcohol.
I drank alcohol last night. If you gave me the choice, I would have clearly taken $1 million. But it's with this, is it been confirmed? Like he's definitely going to miss the entire next season. Has that been confirmed? Like, what's the sentence right now?
Well,
if you're going to leave up to Goodell, nothing. But
yeah, it's going to be supposedly according to the policy, it's going to be a year. So because he got it shortened to 8 games last time because of the change in the policy, the NFL's policy. So he was already supposed to get a game this year. Now the issue is I think he's going to be cut by the Browns. You know,
good for
at
him.
this point, they waited 10 games for him to play this year, and he showed up late and he played okay when he played, but you know, he got suspended in the last week for partying with Manziel, your favorite player.
Well, I only like this because it gives if Cleveland's stupid enough to put Manziel back at quarterback, this means he loses one of his weapons, which in favor makes Manziel worse, which I like. So I'm in favor of it because it give Manziel less. But again, he shouldn't even be on the field. I have more reason to be on the field than he does. But it's just I don't understand like with these athletes. Like again, if you're in trouble and you got to stay clean, then you stay clean.
Well, I don't want to say he's an addict because I obviously don't know all the details.
Right.
But if you can't put something away, if you can't say no because you just can't say no, you can't weigh everything out and say no. I don't know if maybe he just needs treatment. I mean, you remember Justin Blackmon?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. I mean, the Jaguars basically said, look, man, we're going to stick with you. We're going to pay out your contract. Go get help, right? And they took care of the guy. They kept him on. They didn't cut him. They let him go all the way through and everything. And I think he's a free agent now. I don't know if he's going to still play or if he even can. I haven't heard anything on him since that point. But this guy might be in the same spot. But I don't know if he's willing because Blackmon at least is like, look, I need help. I've got the DUI issues. I can't stay away. I literally need help. And they supported him to go to rehab. I don't know if Gordon is in that same mindset to say, yeah, I need help. I think maybe he just thinks, well, you know,
like
whatever.
Dustin Johnson in the PGA. Remember after being tested positive for cocaine, he clearly said, he's like, I'm not an addict. He's like, I know I was in the wrong crowd and I made a bad mistake and that's why he took himself out of the PGA to get some personal time or coach, or I think he says a life coach is what he was getting at.
Right.
Well, I mean, you need 4 times before you realize that, hey, the first one I was given a freebie. Number 2, I wasn't really paying attention. 3, it felt good. 4, I didn't know I was getting tested.
Oh yeah.
Well, and similar thing here with Darrell Washington and the Cardinals. He was suspended the previous year for I think it was performance enhancing steroids, basically.
Yeah.
And then last year, all year, domestic violence plus steroids. And the Cardinals have kind of said we're not going to have him back. I mean, and that's at some point you have to do that. Now, some people take a flyer on Gordon and some people take a flyer on Washington for a low end deal, but they screw up one more time. I think their punishment is banned for life. So
I would hope.
You know, I just don't get it, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't. I don't know why it just seems like, you know, because anything at work like that, I don't think you're going to get 4 times where you're just going to get slapped on the wrist if something like that happens at work. You know, with our jobs, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the company's not paying us 6 figures, but still.
Well, and that's a tough argument. It's not really a fair argument. It's a unique skill set. There's not a lot of people in the world.
But you're in a,
you know,
but
it's like, you know, it'd be like saying you're only one of 700 people in the world who can write a specific type of code for a computer program. You're going to get another chance, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere. It's not the same as someone who, I don't know, bags groceries, because anyone can do it, you know, but that's what makes it tough. But I'm more worried about him at this point if he does have a real problem and maybe he needs help.
Oh, I hope he gets the help on a personal thing, but you know, I don't feel sorry for him at all. I don't feel bad for him. I mean, clearly because no one taped him to that chair, and even though it's a private jet, no like flight attendant go there and slam that beer down his face, making him drink it, you know. But Anyway, I kind of hope he gets. I hope he gets misses the whole season. But if he's got a problem with that, because I know he listens, he can hit me a tweet. I got no problem going with him on that. But also, Packers releasing their special teams coach. I mean, I'm sure some people are going to say it's probably all because of how that onside kick was handled. But
yeah, that and the fake field goal they got burned on late in the game.
Yeah,
so that's twice that in that game. I don't think they'll have Bostic back, the guy that botched the
onside kick.
Yeah, the kick off his face.
Well, the Packers were 20. They were
but-
they were ranked number 22 in special teams last year. This season that's almost about to end. So I mean, it definitely wasn't like, they were setting the way or laying the groundwork for everybody. I mean, they were 22nd in the league out of 32 teams.
Yeah.
But
I think, hey, the Packers don't have a lot of gleaming holes.
No.
So you got to make a head roll somewhere maybe, and this is the guy who takes the fall.
Well, special teams is a very important part of the game. I mean, I know it's only like you only see them when they're out there on a fourth down or after for an extra point or on a kickoff or type thing. But I mean, so many times you see just like a field goal botch, like if the snap is a bad snap or a bad hold, that can change the momentum of a game. And how many times you see a game
extra point too? It's always if you miss an extra point, you come back to lose by one.
By one exactly. I mean, I was on even when I played in high school. I played tight end, but I also did the field goals and the kicking and the punting.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were times where you have a bad punt. I mean, hell, if you're punting the ball with a net of 20, 30 yards, I mean, that's you're better off just going for it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a field position game. So yeah, I could see that. I think it's probably going to happen. And like I said, I don't think Bostic is coming back either. So just nature of the beast. You don't make it, somebody's got to take the hit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the head coach. It's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. Not going to be Clay Matthews.
When speaking of Rodgers, everyone, he is the heavy favorite for the MVP this year. I know we've got about 2 minutes, Aaron, minute and a half. Or one guy that I was listening on Mad Dog Sports was basically this guy called in and was like, when are we going to change that award to the most valuable quarterback?
Right.
And unfortunately though, it's it is the league which is the quarterback is one of the most important positions. They touch the ball every single play, so a lot of people think it should be JJ Watt, who actually I read an article he's doing Rocky style training. He is running in snowy hills. I don't know why I had to bring that part up. I just remember seeing it. It basically brought up that he's training like Rocky, but he's the other person that people think should be the MVP. Guy had an amazing year. He had more running. He had more scoring touchdowns.
I think he deserves to be the MVP. That would be my pick.
Well, look who we have staring in the window. We've got his gas station pizza again. Well, actually, we are just about coming up on a break, so we will go ahead and take a break. You are listening to JD's Rockin' Sports. Stick with us. We will be right back.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey, everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm